When I was in high school, I was a pretty bad student. There was nothing that I did that was intentional or consistent. I had terrible study habits, and I was always getting distracted. These, let's call them what they are, facts, led me to believe that I was not enough. Yet now, I'm a successful adult who's kind of checked all the boxes in life, right? The wife, the kids, the house, the whole thing. So what happened? What changed? And most importantly, what did I learn? Today, I'm going to share 7 habits that high-performing students implement that I only wish I knew when I was in high school. As we go down through this list, they're going to start really tactical, and then they're going to become a little bit more abstract that will take a little bit of situational awareness for you to apply. The good news is that they're very easy. So let's get into it. I got a question for you. If I took your phone right now, how many alarms would I see? Like if we scrolled through and you have the alarms that, wake you up in the morning, would I see like a list of like 6:05, 6:12, 6:18, 6:25, and then like 6:35 is like when you actually wake up, right? Is that you? Because I used to be me. I totally did that. I was like the snooze master. I get it. It's middle of winter. You're warm under the covers, right? And like you're just like, oh no, I'm not doing this today. Snooze. Oh no, I'll just fail that test today. Snooze. No, I'll just drop out of high school. Snooze. If we are able to set one alarm and wake up on that first alarm, things begin to change. Not only do we start actually getting some more time in our morning to either implement some type of routine or maybe just have a little bit more of an easy morning. We're not rushing around to school, but what you're telling yourself is that the first decision of the day you've made and you've taken to take action, to actually, boom, get up. Because if you snooze, technically, the first decision that you've made the second you woke up for that day is procrastination. You've probably heard it from like the gurus before. If you win the morning, you win the day. Well, I can tell you this, it's 100% true. Don't snooze. Habit number 1, set one alarm and wake up. Now, once you wake up, you might want to actually develop some type of routine. For me, my mornings are very complex. I do a lot of things in the morning before I actually start my day and get my kids up, right? I work on the business, I work out, I meditate, I stretch, I breathe, I do like a whole bunch of different things. I do a little mantra, I do all those things, and it takes hours, and that's why I wake up at like 10 after 5. Now, am I asking you to do something like that? No, but am I asking you to consider some type of routine? Now, this routine can incorporate your mind, your body, your emotional state, whatever it may be, or all three. But I would definitely implement some type of routine. It could be in the morning, especially if you don't snooze. It could be maybe before school, after school, when you come home, or even at night before you go to bed. But when you have some type of consistent routine that you want to take action on, something that you want to improve, something that you want to develop, the only thing, or the only way that we get better at something in our life is to routinely do that, routinely work on it, and routinely execute it. So whatever that may look like, number 2, I would highly suggest you implement some type of daily routine. Now, my next question is this is a hard one, what is your average screen time on your phone? I can guarantee that every single person that watches this video at some point in the future, including myself, is not happy with that number. It's way higher than we'd like it to be. How do we combat that? How do we combat our phones and our technical distractions in our life? Well, not only how do we combat the technical distractions, but how do we combat time? Father Time is constantly pulling at me and constantly, right? Remember like 5 seconds ago, you were in 6th grade and now you're a junior and looking at to apply colleges. It's time goes by really, really fast. And my friends, it only goes by faster. So what do we do with this, right? How do we stop getting distracted, and how do we stop feeling like time is just escaping us? Well, What we're going to do is you're going to do a zero-based schedule. And what I mean by that is ultimately you're going to schedule every single second of every single day. Dude, is this guy serious? Like, I can't work that much. I can't work that all. That's insane. I'm not telling you to fill up all 24 hours with work, right? Or even all 16 hours you're awake with work. I'm talking about scheduling every single activity that you want to have happen, meaning you're going to actually schedule the time you sit down and watch Netflix. You're going to schedule the time you're going to scroll through TikTok. Because if you tell yourself, I'm done with TikTok, meanwhile, like you're straight up addicted, it's not going to actually happen. So being less addicted to something is a whole different conversation for another day. I want you to simply just schedule it, because here's the thing. If you give yourself a 15-minute window to scroll through social and another 15-minute window later on in the day to scroll through social, I can guarantee you're probably going to hit those numbers, or at least come close to it, because you've scheduled it. And it's going to be way less than the hours that you spend, on social right now, or on whatever it is that you don't want to be on. And then number two, what we have is with a zero-based schedule is that you get to actually find those fringe minutes to be able to actually get some more studying in. You get to find that extra time you wanted to spend with your boyfriend or girlfriend. You get to find all the time that originally you felt like, I just didn't have the time. Meanwhile, everybody has the same 24 hours. Interesting. So, number three, zero-based schedule. You schedule every single minute of every single day with every single activity that you want to do. Now, for me, when I was in high school, I hated studying. I wasn't good at it. I didn't know how to study. I felt like at one point I was like, do I have a learning disability? And it probably was just that I didn't have good study habits. Ultimately, yes, there was a lot of different kind of boring ways that we can think about scheduling time to study, or, setting up a clean space to study, and making sure that we're, reviewing chapters from before, and maybe, reading a chapter ahead to make sure we're prepared. Like, there's all these different technical ways and strategies to study better. But the number one thing you have to really implement is making it fun. Habit number 4, we have to make studying fun, because many of you are watching this right now because you want to get better grades. I get it. That's why we are high-performing students, and to perform as a student to get better grades. So we have to make studying fun, because to be honest with you, especially as a working adult, like nobody does something and feels like it's easy if it's not fun. If it is not fun, it's hard. That's the only combination. So you have to find ways to make studying fun. Maybe it's going to be something like you're going to make songs, right, to remember certain things. Maybe you're going to reward yourself with certain snacks if you do XYZ, or take certain practice tests or whatever it may be. But you got to give yourself that levity. You got to have fun while trying to study some of the stuff, because a lot of the stuff that you're studying may not be fun to you. So you have to make the process of studying fun. Now, when I was in high school, I took advantage of a lot of things in my life. I took advantage of my friends. I took advantage of my teachers. I took advantage of my parents. I took advantage of everything that I was had and gifted. And I say that, and that maybe even sounds harsh for me to say that, but it was true. I didn't do that all the time, but there were many times where I didn't realize how good I had it. And that led me to a very narrow-minded perspective. And that led me to get upset and angry about really stupid things because I didn't have any perspective. I also didn't have any gratitude. Yes, I was grateful for obvious things, but I wasn't grateful for every single day waking up with a healthy body, with a healthy mind, with parents that love me in a safe, warm home, with breakfast on the table. I mean, I could sit here for the next 2 hours and go through everything that I'm grateful for. But I can promise you that high-performing students understand that they are grateful for every single detail, the thousands upon thousands of things that are gifted to them by circumstance and or by circumstance, right? What they use gratitude for is kind of like an energy, is a juice, because not only will gratitude eliminate any of the petty stuff in your life, but it'll let you focus on all the stuff that you are kind of like owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to get great grades because you're so grateful to be in a position to be sitting in a school in, whatever country or in America for the most part, right? I mean, you are so much better off than like such a huge percentage of the world just by being in this situation and having this what we call a challenge. Like, oh, I got this test coming up, right? Oh, I got to whatever, right? Like that is, we got to be grateful for those situations. Every day, you want to find a way to actually practice gratitude. For me, I just write 3 things down I'm grateful for. Every day I write, this could be something like I'm grateful for my beautiful children. I'm grateful for my, beautiful wife, whatever it is. Or it could be simple things like I'm grateful for a cup of coffee. Love coffee, right? Or I'm grateful for, I don't know, my phone, anything. I just write it down. And over the next 30 days, if you do this, I can promise you, you will operate on a completely different plane, both mentally and emotionally. So next habit, you're going to practice gratitude. Now, if you've ever listened to a guy named Tony Robbins, he is like the motivation man. Well, actually, he hates that term, but he is the guy who kind of pumps you up and rah-rah. Actually, he hates that too. Either way, he is like the motivational speaker, okay? He's been around for like 40-something years doing this, and he has millions of followers and millions of people in his events and all this stuff. And I heard him say one thing that was really, I took with me, where he was talking about this idea of motivation and action, right? Taking massive action in your life. And he said, one of the best things that you can do is never leave the sight of a goal. And what he meant by that is when you feel pumped, when you feel amped and ready to go and ready to do something, don't leave that moment without taking the smallest bit of action. It could be just, I'm really, really pumped to go to this college. I would love to go to this school. This would just make my dreams come true. I would just love it. Everything would be. So if you're feeling that awesome emotion, this is incredible, just quickly go to the website and just download the brochure. Right? Something. Or quickly just pick up the phone and make that one phone call you need to do. Whatever it is. But take action in the moment that you're feeling so excited and so pumped up. Habit number 6, never leave sight of the goal. Now, speaking of Tony Robbins, his mentor, Jim Rohn said something very interesting. He was talking about this idea that your mind is extremely susceptible. So let me explain. He does this little demonstration where he talks about a cup of coffee and he says, well, what happens if you have a cup of coffee and somebody comes over and puts some sugar in your coffee? Nothing really, it just gets a little sweet. What happens if somebody puts 1 drop of, he calls it strychnine, like it's like a poison, right? Like one drop of poison in your coffee, just 1 drop, you're dead. But like, what if my mother, the person that loves me the most in the world, puts that little drop of poison in my coffee? Doesn't matter, you're still dead. What if my worst hated arch nemesis puts a little scoop of sugar in my coffee? Nothing. It's just sweet. So it doesn't matter who it's from. You have to stand guard at the door of your mind. You have to guard your cup of coffee. Habit number 7. Stand guard of your mind. Don't let anybody tell you you can or can't do something. Don't let anybody feed you a story that is anybody else's but yours. Now, I'm not sure why you want to implement these type of habits in your life. Maybe you're looking to achieve a specific goal. Maybe you're just looking to have some more personal growth and development. Or maybe you're someone who's looking to get better grades. Now, if you're looking to get good grades, and when I say good grades, I mean if anything less than an A will ruin your life, those type of good grades, well, then you need to definitely watch this video right over here before you do anything else.